Trustees and the Pickwood City Commission. Do we?
You need a roll call, correct?
Yeah.
Need
Roll
a
call.
complete roll call again. Mayor Lee,
Present.
Commissioner Hines,
Here.
Commissioner Grissom,
Here.
Commissioner Pearson. Here. Commissioner Foat,
Here.
Trustee Hartley,
Here.
Trustee Lang,
Here.
Trustee McMacken.
All right, we'll start with new business, the approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes from the February 18th, 2020 joint meeting of the Washington Township Trustees and the Pickwood City Commission. Anybody?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is resolution number R-96-20.
A resolution authorizing the sale of real property from the Forest Hill Cemetery.
Okay, does anybody from Washington Township have anything to say about that?
It is the sale of two properties, one on Echo Lake Drive, and the other one is across from the cemetery office on the east side of State Route 66. Both those property sales will allow the cemetery to move forward with starting construction of the new maintenance building.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
I had a question. I was looking at this property and trying to see, one, how they came up with the valuation for it, and then two, I was looking on the Miami County Auditor, and I just want to make sure I understand it correctly, because it looked like it was appraised at a higher value, but if I'm understanding, this is, what's on the auditor website is a larger parcel, and this is going to be replatted correct, and it's not going to be what is actually on that auditor website. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
The property was appraised for the cemetery board, and they used the appraised price to sell both parcels. Each parcel has to be resurveyed, from my understanding. This parcel in particular is part of a larger lot, and it will have a new parcel number and a new survey. And we also have in this resolution where the parties, part of the contract is that they will have to annex the properties both into the city of Pickwood, and that's with both properties.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? And I probably should mention that we are now on Zoom. This is a Zoom meeting as well as a YouTube Live meeting. And we do have a person engaged in the Zoom meeting. Do we have a question from the audience? No questions from the audience.
Chris, can I just make a comment?
Yes.
I sat on the cemetery board for 4 years, and I know that Commissioner Pearson is now on the board, and we have been looking at doing this for quite a few years, and I know that the board has been in conversation about this. This goes in hand, as we said, because they are looking to build a new structure, facility for their maintenance and for their equipment and things like that. So this is very much has been in the plan of the Fort Hill Cemetery for quite a few years.
Okay. All right. With that said, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution R-96-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. Next is resolution number R-96A-20.
A resolution authorizing the sale of real property from the Forest Hill Cemetery.
Mr. Mayor, this property is the property across the street from the main entrance of the cemetery. The property has not been used for cemetery purposes for a long time, except for storage purposes in the barn out there. And as previously said, the proceeds from the sale of this property are intended to go to build a new maintenance facility. If that maintenance facility for some reason is never built, the money still stays with the cemetery.
Okay. Any comments from the commission? Any from Washington Township? No? Any from the audience? then I will call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-96A-20.
Second it?
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution passes. Gentlemen, thank you. At this time, we will adjourn from the joint meeting with the Washington Township trustees. Can I have a motion for that?
I'll make them.
So moved? Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We are adjourned from the joint meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We will now engage in the regular Piqua City Commission meeting. We're going to start with a proclamation honoring the life of Kenneth Cornell Thorpe. And I have it here, and I'll just read it. Whereas on October 15th, 1931, Kenneth Cornell Thorpe blessed his parents, Willard Thorpe and Emma Bell Turner Thorpe, with his birth in our community. And whereas Kenneth's life was encompassed with honor, dedication, determination, and most importantly, his love for family and friends. And whereas Kenneth Cornell Thorpe faced so much at such an early age with the loss of his mother when he was a young child while battling many health issues as well. But Kenneth stood strong and he turned challenges into determination. And whereas while attending Piqua High School, Kenneth was a decorated athlete in both football and track and was voted All-American Team and Most Valuable Player in both sports, and graduated from Piqua High School in 1952, then attending the Ohio State University. And whereas Kenneth married Sally Thorpe, and together they raised their daughter, Cheryl Howard, being blessed with grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And whereas this remarkable man was a United States Army veteran and retired from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base after many years of dedicated service. And whereas this proclamation only showcases a small segment of Kenneth Cornell Thorpe's remarkable life that was lost on July 3rd, 2020, and the Piqua community wishes to honor his dedication and service to our community and our country. Let it be known that I, as mayor of the city of Piqua, do hereby honor Kenneth Cornell Thorpe and declare this day as Kenneth Cornell Thorpe Day in the city of Piqua, and request all citizens to respect and honor this remarkable man. So he was a wonderful example of what an athlete and an honorable man this city can produce, and we just wanted to have a proclamation for his life as he's now passed. All right, next on the agenda is the Summer Residence Pride Awards. And I myself got some calls about and recommendations on certain ones, and I talked to the city manager, and some of them have already been, or actually I talked to your secretary and Debbie, and some of them had already had it and they can't have it again, but there's a lot of nice looking residences out there. So we're going to start with the first residence that belongs to Crystal and Shane Cantrell at 536 South Wayne Street. Beautiful example. I love the flags. The yard's very well maintained. Sidewalk looks great. Nice flowers. Did a great job. The next one belongs to Rita and Roger Queen at 907 Young Street. And that fence looks great. Very, very well-maintained yard. House looks great. There's a lot of people that care about their properties within the city, and we appreciate that. And when we do these things, when we do the Residence Pride, we showcase those people who are doing it. Next is Lucille and Dennis Myers at 701 Cottage Avenue. I love the shutters. I mean, I just love the color of the shutters. House is well maintained. And I like the little flag they've got there as well. And the last one on the list that we will honor is Diana and Edwin Benton at 721 Broadway Street. And that is just gorgeous. I love that. Very nice. All right, so next on the agenda is the consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda tonight. Approval of the minutes from the July 7th, 2020 regular Piqua City Commission meeting and the July 21st, 2020, July 29th, 2020, and the August 4th, 2020 special commission meetings. Item number 2 is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Jonathan A. Stevens as a city employee for 33 years. And number 3 is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Candace L. Etter as a city employee for 32 years. And Mr. Stevens and his wife are here with us tonight.
Well, let me come down there. You don't mind if we social distance a little bit, do you?
No problem.
All right, so where are we? Right here? Come on, if you don't mind. No problem. See, look at that. Do you want to turn around? All right. So, this is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Jonathan A. Stevens as a city employee. Whereas Jonathan A. Stevens is retired as an assistant fire chief in the fire department with the city of Piqua, and whereas his retirement follows 33 years. Wow. Of faithful and dedicated service to the city and its citizens. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, Miami County, Ohio, and members, excuse me, and all members elected thereto concurring that in recognition of the appreciation of the public service of Jonathan A. Stevens of the City of Piqua, this commission tenders its unanimous, excuse me, and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter of public and permanent record. This resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Let's go.
Congratulations.
I did get to see you, and when I was on the police department, you were a shining example of how to go up the ladder and be a good fire officer or firefighter, and an example to the younger officers who appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's probably the most important thing that I do want to say.
Yeah, you can, sure.
There's just basically the gratitude and thankfulness for having the opportunity to work at a job that I truly love. I think people such as your dad, Frank Patricio Sr., the city manager at the time, as well as former great chief Robert Bowman,
Yes.
giving me a chance. So I appreciate that. Like I said, I work with a lot of very dedicated and professional people, which are still there and continue. So it's an outstanding department. It's kind of like a childhood dream, which I think probably a lot of young people growing up could say, what a great opportunity. So
Did it feel like work? Because if you go to work and it feels like work, sometimes the days are long.
you may have some days where it's pretty intense and it can be stressful, but I mean,
If you enjoy it.
I came here mostly with a smile on the face every day.
Every day it's always fun. That is true. That is very true.
33 years, I still enjoyed it, and it's just a wonderful place. Not just the fire department, but the city of Piqua, all the departments, so many professional people working together, and it's truly a great opportunity. And I can't say thank you enough, but,
We can't thank you enough. We're grateful to you as well.
I really appreciate it, so thank you all very much.
Well, thank you. God bless you. Enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you once again.
Also with us tonight, Candy Etter and her mother are here.
Okay. Next is a resolution of appreciation for the public service of Candy L. Etter as a city employee. till you talk. So, whereas Candace L. Etter has retired as an account clerk 3 in the finance department with the city of Piqua, and whereas her retirement follows 32 years of faithful and dedicated service to the city and its citizens. 32 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of the City of Piqua, Miami County, Ohio, all members elected thereto concurring that in recognition and appreciation of the public service of Candace L. Etter with the City of Piqua, this commission tenders its unanimous and respectful tribute by this resolution, which shall be a matter of public and permanent record. This resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Thank you for a job well done. All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for your dedication and hard work. God bless you. Enjoy your retirement. Making candy, are you? Lots of candy. Well, I'll have to come get some.
Bye, Candy.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Do we have to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next is new business. Starting with resolution number R-99-20.
A resolution authorizing a purchase order to Cargill Incorporated for the purchase of road salt for the street department.
Mr. Brookhart will provide the staff report.
Good evening, Commission. The Public Works Department is looking to purchase road salt for the 2020-2021 snow season. We belong to an organization named Southwest Ohio Purchasers for Government, which bids out road salt purchases on behalf of approximately 86 government entities this year. The low bid this year is with Cargill Incorporated at a cost of $48.32 per ton. Last year, we paid $89.69 per ton for salt. So this will be a significant decrease in the cost for salt compared to last season. We're asking you to authorize a purchase order to Cargill Incorporated to purchase up to 2,500 tons at the cost not to exceed $120,800. And the bid results are marked in Exhibit A. I can answer any questions if you have any.
All right. Commission, have any questions whatsoever?
Just sitting here looking at the prices real quick. What drove the price down so low this year compared to last year? Was it because of usage, or do you happen to know?
It's typically supply and demand on the seasons. The season before, there was a lot of snow. When you see a lot of snow in the northeast area, a lot of municipalities are using sometimes more salt than normal. So when the demand's up and the supplies aren't there, we typically see a large jump in the cost, thanks to a mild winter through the area. It really helped drive prices down even farther than what I thought they might go. So
Are we purchasing the same amount as last year? Or less?
if needed, yes. Yes.
Okay. So do we have some left over?
I have some left from
Okay.
last year. I did not I had the option to refill the barn at the end of the season, but I did not.
Good.
Because I called all of the companies asking them, where do you think the prices are gonna go? And they were all 95% sure that they were gonna drop
Good.
pretty significantly, so I waited.
Smart.
Which will, when I make our first order, that will save us over $22,000 on our first order.
Like
So,
hearing that.
Yeah.
In light of all the stuff that's going on, any savings is welcome. Thank you very much for doing that.
Yes, sir.
Do you use this along with the chemicals that are sprayed on the roads?
Yes, we put a mixture on the salt just to help it it helps the salt. It lasts a little longer out on a roadway and adheres to the roadway a little better. So yeah, we do use some liquid products with the salt as well, yes.
Any other questions from the committee or commission? Any questions from citizen? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution number R-99-20.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is resolution number R-100-20.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to submit an application to the Ohio Department of Transportation Office of Aviation for funding under the Ohio Airport Grant Program for FY 2021.
And Ms. Havner will provide the staff report for this item.
Thank you. So this legislation would allow for us to apply for grant funding at the airport. Our goal out there is to replace all of the lighting out there with LED lighting. This would be the runway lighting, the taxiway lighting, and basically all of the lights. They're up to over 22 years old, and this grant would pay up to 100% of that funding.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
And this is just an application to apply for the grant, correct?
Correct. This is just the application, so there's no guarantees that we would get it. If we're not successful in the grant, we will not proceed with the project.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Any questions from citizen? Nope. All right. I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution number R-100-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is resolution number R-101-20.
A resolution authorizing continued wastewater biosolids to disposal at Cherokee Run Landfill and Bell Fountain Republic Services.
Superintendent of Wastewater, Chris Melvin, will provide the staff report tonight.
Good evening. We are here tonight to request to continue hauling our biosolids to Cherokee Run Landfill. During the construction, we actually had to repurpose tanks, and in doing that, we drained the whole entire plant into the new plant and then held solids for way too long. They were starting to get odorous, and they really weren't going to treat real well. Normally, we go out to land application and use it as a fertilizer on farm fields. This wasn't going to be conducive. We could have added air. I mean, I hate to use the term dead horse, but we were literally working with solids that just weren't going to be a very good fertilizer, nor could we turn them. So we'd like to continue this up to $100,000. It's worked quite well. We have, you see a couple pictures there. That, one of them is a centrifuge that our operators are processing, and then it goes into the roll-off dumpsters that Cherokee Run comes and picks up and hauls away.
Any questions from the commission?
I will say that I'm noticing here that the budgeted item is much more than what we are asking for here, so.
Correct. With the construction, we were really getting a late start anyways. I mean, this year's really transitional, and there's really not any way to understand what we're going to be up against until next year. We'll go right back to land application. The joy of all this is there's a 90-day window that you're not allowed to store on the fields. So we have the storage capability in the wintertime, or if you get into a real wet season, and the farmer, it is their land, so they're particular about what time their crops come off and when you're allowed to apply. So if we end up in a situation that we're not allowed to really land apply, then we would still be able to go back to Cherokee Run or store. And we have another building there, a grit and grease building, that was basically a pad as well, and we were going to go ahead and repurpose that building as well because it was already plumbed back into the plant, so it'll work as a covered storage. I mean, it's a real luxury for us. We didn't have that before.
Right. Some of those wonderful advantages of the work that's happened, so that's
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Questions from the audience? Nope. I'll entertain a motion then.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number R-101-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next is resolution number R-102-20.
A resolution repealing Resolution R-46-20, which authorized the sale of city-owned real estate located at 439 South Main Street.
And Mr. Schmeezing will provide the staff report for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. So this item, if it sounds familiar, it's because we actually discussed this in April. This particular property is a piece of vacant land that the city acquired some number of years ago. It was actually donated to the city by a previous owner. And since then, we have mowed and maintained a lot, but really have no use for it. The property owner referenced in the resolution, Hem Properties LLC, has indicated that they would like to acquire the property simply to clean it up and assemble it with other properties that they're acquiring in the neighborhood for the sake of revitalizing the area. So we had agreed upon a purchase price, and in the April resolution, there was an extra zero unintentionally included in the number. So you can imagine the purchaser's surprise when we went to close on that. So we bring this back for you this evening with the correction to reflect the appropriate purchase price that was agreed upon, which is $1,260. And that covers our expenses that will incur as part of the closing process.
Any questions from the commission?
So is this resolution repealing the previous one, or is it also authorizing for that same sale for this
We have to
property?
do two and one?
If you look through it, so it's repealing Resolution 4620 that was adopted in April and replacing it with this resolution to
Okay.
reflect the correct purchase
Wanted to
price.
clarify.
Don't
Thank
vote.
you.
Yeah.
Any further questions from the commission? Any from the audience? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-102-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next one is resolution number R-104-20.
103.
103, I'm sorry, dash 20.
A resolution authorizing a zoning map change for parcel N44-095820 from OS Open Space to R1 One Family Residential.
This property is located on Manuar Avenue between Gordon Street and the Manuar Avenue solar field on the south side of the street. The property owner has requested to rezone the property from OS to R1 because he would like to build a new home on this property. The item went before the Planning Commission. Public hearing was conducted, and there was no opposition received to the with regards to the request. And the Planning Commission has unanimously recommended the rezoning as proposed.
Any questions from the commission? Questions from the audience? All right, no questions. Then I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-103-20.
A second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Will
you.
he come back during your section? Do you mind hanging around? I'm sorry. No, just, you can sit there until city manager's report. We just have a question. All right. Next on the agenda is resolution number R-104-20.
A resolution requesting authorization to enter into an agreement with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for the alternative feasibility study and preliminary design of the Piqua Water Supply Lakes System.
Mr. Jennings will provide the staff report. Thank you. In December of 2018, we contracted with Stantec Consulting Services to complete an evaluation, master plan, and schedule to bring the hydraulic system into compliance with ODNR. The resolution tonight will allow Stantec to move into the next phase of the project. They will conduct an alternative feasibility study and also begin preliminary design for some modifications that we are going to have to make. We were able to secure 2 grants to assist with the cost of this next phase. One from FEMA in the amount of $171,500, and then another one from ODNR for an amount just over $240,000. And tonight with us we have Mr. Rob Kirkbride from Stantec, and he can help answer if you have any specific questions. I would like to remind the commission that this is the project that we're trying to get the rating of our dams changed so that we will not have to face a high cost of improving those dam structures in the future.
Understood. Any questions from the commission?
I have one, so looking at this, the expenditure that we have listed, is that including the grants? Or is that Soul City's responsibility?
The total expenditure, we included a 10% contingency. So the total was $624,000. So out of our budget for this year and next year, we will have to allocate about $211,000.
Thanks, that's
And
all
that'll
right.
be split over
That's
2
all right.
years. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission?
I just have one. I know that there are going to be different alternatives. I think that's the goal, is to discover what's wrong and then how we go about correcting or doing away with. And I guess that at the end, we'll have alternative goals for processing.
Choices?
Yes.
Yeah, Rob, you want to answer that?
Yeah, so with these alternatives, we'll be able to provide several options, 2, 3 or so options based on those existing conditions, and the alternatives will have, all the information. You'll be able to make decisions from cost-wise, longevity-wise, and other situations. But the alternatives will allow us, the city of Piqua, to get these dams into compliance with what ODNR is requiring. So that's the ultimate goal here, is to get that compliance.
And just so you understand, the alternatives will vary in cost depending on how much you want to
Right.
spend for the alternative.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commission?
I'm not a dam person, don't know much about it.
You mean water dam, right?
Water dam, yeah.
Okay.
Needless to say. Within the process, and I'm just asking this because as you see lakes around that actually have water flowing out of them, is there a dredging process that's pulled into this as well whenever these studies are done? Or is the lake, or would the waterways not be depthened any, and we would just go off the current water levels that are there, or does that play a role into that?
Yeah, so if you're looking at dredging situation, you're looking to add storage to the lakes or something. But in this situation, we have a focus of trying not to change the normal pool levels. So if we're able to do that, dredging wouldn't help that situation. But in some respects, in other areas it would, but probably not in this situation.
Okay.
Any questions from?
He put his hand up, but if he took it down, so I don't think that he has a question, but maybe ask him if he does raise his hand again.
Do you have a question for the commission, Mr. Roman? I don't think so. Okay. At this time, I'll entertain a motion then.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number R-104-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last on our agenda is resolution number R-105-20.
A resolution to levy assessments to pay for the cost of nuisance abatements.
Ms. Welker will provide the staff report as soon as she's in place there.
No problem. We're rushing you.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening, ma'am.
Amy.
Before you tonight is a resolution that we do each year to levy assessments for properties that have sustained nuisance abatements throughout the year. So throughout the year, the Health Department receives complaints from citizens regarding issues on properties such as high grass and weeds, trash and debris, things that violate our nuisance ordinance. What happens is the Health Department then will issue a notice to the property owner, letting them know they're in violation of the city ordinance. We give them a time frame to correct the issue. If they fail to do so, then we hire contractors to complete the work to abate the situation. We then charge the cost of that plus any fees or penalties back to the property owner. If they fail to pay that cost, the city's permitted to place that as a lien on the property taxes. And that's what is before you tonight.
Any questions, Commissioners?
Does this seem about the same number as we normally have?
Yeah, if you'll remember, I think it was last year, we started bringing these to you a little more often. So we were doing them quarterly, although we kind of skipped the ones sometimes in the winter time when we don't have very much. So we've done it about 3 times each year. So it's quite a bit less than what you would have typically seen in the past. But what we'll do is we'll add this one along to the 2 previous ones that you have already approved, and we'll send all of that to the county auditor. They accept them once per year in September.
Okay. That's interesting.
Thank you.
Any questions from our citizen? No? All right. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, pass resolution number R-105-20.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. This is an opportunity now for public comment. It's for an opportunity for citizens to address the city commission regarding agenda items, issues, or to provide information. Comments are requested to be limited to 5 minutes, and specific questions should be addressed to the city manager.
Hi, Jay.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep, your time's starting.
There's about a 1-minute delay between the Zoom chat and the live feed on YouTube.
Oh,
So,
okay.
earlier when I had a question, it was actually answered, and it was kind of difficult to hear Mrs. Pearson, so I knew you in a second. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys very much for making this available to people. Hopefully more people start taking advantage of the process next time. But I do appreciate it, all 5 of you for pushing this through and making sure that people do have, some type of voice here and have at least the opportunity to chime in. But I have one more comment, but before I do, I want to ask a question. What is the update on the process with the medical marijuana facility?
Where are we at with the medical marijuana?
Hasn't it gone to, is it going to zoning, is that right?
Well, the last email that come out, I don't know if you mind if I answer this or not. The last email that we received in regards to that is that it was received just a few days shy of being able to get on to the last agenda for the Planning Commission, but they do plan on getting it on to the next agenda, so that's where it stands at right now.
which is early September.
And that actually answered it. But I just kind of wanted to make one comment since I haven't really had a chance to since all this COVID-19 stuff started going down. But I kind of wanted to talk to you guys for just a couple of minutes about how obviously we're in a really strange political climate right now, and things are very tense with a lot of people and their viewpoints and everything. And I kind of want to take this opportunity to sort of, I don't know, I guess for a lack of better words, call for sort of a ceasefire in general and try to get a better talks between, citizens and you guys in general, because a lot of people do want to have their concerns made out, but there's so much hostilities, and I understand I do play a part in that. I take full responsibility for what I say. I don't apologize, but I do take, responsibility for it. But, I think more than ever now, we can't keep going down this path of, I blame you guys, somebody else blames you guys blame us, whatever. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. And, there's just, I feel like it's not a bad thing to look in for new, fresh ideas. And I think you look at places like Hannah's, that is a fresh facility here in town and has done wondrous things. So I think when we're put in a position where, outside ideas are kind of looked down at, I think Hannah's is a great example of why fresh ideas need to be listened to a little bit more. But again, I think there needs to be a real big emphasis on fixing a lot of bridges that have been broken for a long time, and I don't know how we get there. But I really hope that you guys know that when I do things, I do it. Yes, I fly off the deep end sometimes, but I do it in the best of intentions, and I really do. I would love to have conversations with people I haven't had conversations before. Mrs. Pearson, I don't think me and you have ever had one conversation. Casey, I would love to have a conversation with you again sometime in the future if we were be able to it. And just if in the next few months we've got to start building a foundation. At the beginning of the year, we have a great opportunity to build a strong foundation, and I think some of those pieces are being put into place. But it's going to take everybody in general to get that done. So again, thank you for getting this Zoom chat done. I greatly appreciate it, and thank you guys for your work.
Thank you for your comment. So I appreciate you coming on. I do have 2 additional comments that were sent by email, and I will read them. The first is from Jim and Amy Francis at 309 North Sunset Drive. We have heard through several people that a gas station is planned to be built on the corner near our home. Our reaction to this news has been exactly the same as all of our neighbors. Our first concern is that the gas emissions will be introduced to a residential neighborhood that can't escape it night or day. We have 2 young children and plan to live here many years, and we're worried about the quality of our air. We are also worried about the increased traffic on an already very busy road. Our sidewalk has no grass buffer, so our 2 children will have to walk to and from school with cars at high speed and heavy traffic already. In our years living here, we also have had scary encounters with people walking to purchase alcohol, and we're concerned if this is also a convenience store, it will increase that traffic. We know the statistics that this will reduce our property value and gas stations increase crime rate. We already have 3 gas stations within a 2-minute drive from that location. We're also concerned about noise and light pollution. The business that has been there for years closed at night and only had mild traffic. We value our peace and quiet in the sanctuary of our backyard and in our home. Thank you for considering our opinion, and please let us know of anyone to contact if this was not the right outlet. Amy and Jim Francis. Well, it's certainly the right outlet. You can make your concerns be known. And I don't know any more than what you know as to whether or not a gas station is going there. I've asked the city manager, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I was asked the question today on this particular issue, and I sent to you to the commissioners an email today giving you an update, and I'll just read that.
Yes, sir.
So for the record, the Development Office received an earlier inquiry concerning zoning regulations pertaining to an auto fuel station. possibly being developed at the high-end Sunset location. However, no permit application has been received for such development. The auditor's website does not show that the property is recently sold, although that doesn't mean that it hasn't. The property is zoned B, General Business, which allows for a convenience store and auto fuel station as a by right permitted uses, and means it does not require rezoning or special use approval. It does include traffic, parking, landscaping, and setback requirements. So actually, we've received nothing about this at all into the offices, so I think there's some speculation, and it's not to say that we won't get anything, but we don't have anything at this point.
So there's nothing at this time, so stay tuned. All right, the next email or message that was sent is from Chris and Angie Smith at 315 North Sunset Drive. Good evening. Our names are Chris and Angie Smith, 315 North Sunset Drive. We are very concerned about a gas station going on the corner of Sunset and High. This is going to lower property values, cause lots of traffic on an already busy street, gas fumes that will pollute the air and put my children's health in harm's way, and increase crimes that we do not want in our neighborhood. Thank you for listening. And again, to reiterate the city manager's email that he had sent out to a subject that had asked us earlier today, doesn't mean that right now that the land has been sold, but there's nothing that we know of at this point in time that's going on. So that was it for the questions, and we'll go to the city manager's report at this time.
You had asked earlier to give an update on the Fort Piqua Plaza Banquet Center committee, and so I've asked Chris to stick around, and maybe he can give you an update
Just give us
on
an
the
update
meeting
on the
itself.
Plaza Committee.
So we were able to convene the group, I think it was last week. They're all kind of running together. And
Yeah.
we had a really good conversation with the existing Plaza Oversight Committee members and the 5 appointments from the various wards. One individual was not able to attend, but otherwise, great conversation, good discussion about the history of the Fort Piqua Plaza, and how some things came to be what they are and why they are what they are. And then also some really good conversation about the individuals around the table, their point of view in terms of what the plaza space ought to be, and things that they've heard, questions they've asked of their friend groups, and the feedback they've gotten. So at the end of the day, it was about a 2-hour meeting, and there was a lot of really good dialogue. We were able to review the proposal that we had put together and discuss the content of the proposal and how that process works in terms of trying to solicit proposals, and how that sometimes doesn't necessarily produce the results you're looking for. It's really difficult for an entrepreneur that's trying to run a restaurant or a business they already have established to carve more time out of the week to respond to a request for a written proposal. And especially in this particular time that we're in, it's obviously not the best time to be talking about trying to recruit a restaurant. So we did, we discussed the conversations that we've had to date with individuals who have inquired about the space.
How many? How many individuals?
So there's 2 spaces. There's the restaurant space and the deli space. We've had, I think the number is 7 inquiries. People who have just called and asked, what's going on with that? Can I look at it? 3 were specific to the restaurant proper, and then the others were related to the specialty cafe space. Of the inquiries on the cafe space, it produced one interest, one person who followed up on it. And the group discussed that particular entity's interest, and there was consensus amongst the group that they would be a good fit, and that there should be a recommendation to lease that space to that particular entity. So we're still working through the due diligence with that entity to make sure that everything is going to work for them in terms of the area and the health codes, fire codes, and things of that variety. We had a really good meeting this morning, and it looks very positive. So provided there's no surprises between now and then, we'll probably have a lease agreement on the September 1st agenda for you all to consider for the specialty cafe space.
Is it a deli that's coming in?
They would be operating a deli, sandwiches, salads, soups, and then retailing
Nice.
local produce, local source products, and then their own specialty line of products that they create using those local and organic sources. I think and it's an existing entrepreneur in the community. I'm holding back on sharing the name just until we know for certain that there's a lease that they're ready to execute. So stay tuned. I think you'll be very pleased with that one. The restaurant space, there was consensus amongst the committee that the three inquiries that expressed an interest, first off, they were back in April, so I think I know at least one, if not two of them, have kind of changed their position on their level of interest. But in general, I think the committee was unanimous in their opinion that we need to continue the search and we need to continue conversations with. There have been subsequent phone calls with prospects, I'll call them, who I believe check all the boxes. And they've all said, we'd be very interested in exploring this opportunity, but just not right now. Not until the restrictions from the governor's office are walked back and not until the issues with the pandemic settle down. But they are very interested in the opportunity. So, I would imagine that we continue a dialogue with those folks and engage the committee in that conversation so that they're offering input. And hopefully sometime by the end of the year, if not sooner, we've got an entity who's got a really strong interest and a really strong concept that aligns really well with what the committee is asking for and what they think would be appropriate. And that by then we're talking about maybe a second lease agreement coming to you. But it's really hard to know at this point, just with the uncertainty of the pandemic, and folks just aren't really in the mood to make a decision to do a new project right now.
Okay.
I would like to add, as the commissioner that sits on that committee, it was unanimous. It was a really good meeting, and I know everybody had somebody from their ward that is now part of that decision-making for the restaurant and what have you. But it was really nice to hear from different perspectives in our community.
Yep.
And to realize that we did come to a unanimous decision on both decisions that we made. So that's really hopeful for moving forward and getting the right person in there, so.
Yeah.
Our citizens have input. I love it.
Mhm.
I think it's great. And thank you for the time you spend working with that committee.
My pleasure.
All right. Any other comments from the commission on that? Thank you very much. Did you have anything else for your city manager's comments? All right. All right, we will start with Commissioner Foat for commissioner's comments.
All righty. I got a few things to talk about tonight. The last thing that I really fired up and opened conversation up about was the whole urban chicken thing. So, I went out and started doing some research on the neighborhooding, if you will, of doing like a co-op with the chickens. And I kind of fed that conversation out on the Nextdoor app. And currently, as of right now, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Throughout the Piqua area, we've had one person that's been on this poll that has been from Northern Troy that has given her input in regards to it. But for the urban chicken concept of what they talked about, currently right now under the Nextdoor app, we're looking at 49% approval, 44% approval saying no, and 7% that is undecided on that. Within the app, this actually opened up a good conversation. There was 109 comments total. I had a great time moderating this. Some of the things that was brought up during this is being able to do a true poll for the city, and how do we go about doing that. So I don't know if there's any kind of mailers that we can do, so we can actually gain true full input from the citizens, not just on a social media aspect, but in a handwritten aspect as well, because not everybody has the means for social media, so on and so forth. So I'm gonna be working with the city manager here hopefully pretty soon to see if we can come to some kind of agreement on what kind of mailer that we can do on this. What I want to do is reassure everybody that I don't think this would be a knee-jerk reaction from the city commission at all. I believe every thought, every process that would go into this would be very well thought out and talked about amongst all of us before we'd make a decision in regards to the urban chickens. So with that being said, you know, I've kind of had this poll going for about a month now, so I think I'm gonna just go ahead and suspend the poll for right now, still take comments, but kind of leave the percentages where they're at for right now and go from there. It was funny that, you know, Jay brought up about having talks amongst the citizens and also the commission within the city as well. I actually had a note written down for tonight, and I thought about it for quite some time here, and we hear all the time that, you know, we want to have talks, we want to have talks. Setting up here as a commissioner, you know, I've been doing it since January, not a long time, but I guess I need to encourage the citizens to bring those talks to the commission. If, you know, from where I sit, if there is one citizen that has a issue to bring to us, please bring that to us so we can bring those talks to you guys. Communication is a two-way street, and, you know, social media for me really doesn't open that street of communication up. So I'm encouraging the citizens, email us, and I don't want to say give us phone calls, but give us phone calls. Our numbers are out there. That's what we're here for. We're here to address concerns. We're here to address situations and have these conversations. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about that tonight. Few other things, something that I would like to look forward to maybe for next year. I know we do Sawville studies. That are like studies from electric to electric or water to water. I don't know if in the past at any point in time, if there has been a study of an entire utility process, excuse me, I'm gonna take these off, as to what municipalities line up as a whole municipality with electric and water. I don't know if that's anything, Gary, if you can answer that. If that's something that has ever been done, or if something that we can put back on, you know, for maybe the next year, 2021, 2022 time period. If that's anything that's ever been done at all, at least.
Now, I'm trying to understand a little bit about what you're asking for.
So on, you know, how we do the utility studies to where you have.
The rate studies?
The rate studies, yes. To where you only look at water and it's compared to other towns throughout the area or the region. Has there ever been one done that has been comparative water and electric, wastewater, refuge, like a complete mass study done?
Yes, yes, and we've done that actually fairly recently. A few years ago, we had a comprehensive one done. I will say that the one a few years ago, we were about 2 from the bottom of being the least costly. The most latest one, of course, we have higher water and sewer rates now.
Yep.
And we're probably in the bottom half of all the municipalities around the area. So we do have some data on that, yes.
Is there like a timeline? Because I know like the or the studies that we do, is there a timeline that those are done? I mean, is it on like a rotating yearly, or not yearly, but, you know, like a.
I think it's just periodically when we feel that we want to research that data and see where we're standing, especially after you have rate increases and so forth, to see how that has impacted.
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Foat, at the beginning of the year in January, I gave everybody a packet of information, and in that packet is exactly what you're asking for.
Okay.
So it's the municipal cost comparison of Southwest Ohio communities. And it does everything from electric, household property tax, annual
What year?
income tax,
That's what I'm asking.
refuse fee, This was done, this is what we were referring to last summer, so, this was done,
We have some more recent data than that.
yeah, okay. But but at least you've got that,
So there is a comprehensive study.
mm-hmm,
I've been inundated with paperwork.
yeah, yeah.
So I've got those done and out of the way with. And of course, I'm always looking into nice new things. And just another conversation piece that I want to break up, or bring up, not break up, is looking forward to next year. Some things that I heard through the poll on urban chickens was getting things opened up, and specifically the pool was talked about in the moderation of that. And things that we need to focus on, and the pool was one of those that was brought up instead of focusing on urban chickens. So I'm quite inclined to bring that up and talk about it, even though we're working through our processes. But one thing that I've looked at, and even when I was sitting on the park board, some towns, and this is just a conversation piece, don't take it for gospel or anything like that, but some towns actually look at what they call a sin tax. And I guess I want to bring that up for people to do a little bit of research themselves on, to actually look and see how that process works. Once again, just a conversation piece that I wanted to bring up. But as we get ready to move forward with, pool talks, negotiations, whatever you will, just something to put in the back of people's minds, something to look up and take a look at in that process, something that is not a levy per se for a city to raise taxes on. And another thing, this plays into the mayor's resolution that he had for, I'm gonna draw a blank on it right now. Racism as a public health pandemic. I really got to digging into something like this, and I found some cities throughout the U.S. and some cities even throughout the world that have the ability to give water spots throughout their towns. That way everybody has accessibility to free, clean, fresh water. Once again, this is just another conversation piece, and I think it's something that we as a town, if we're going to move in a progressive way of being, of being Piqua and offering things to our citizens. We have homeless people, there's no denying that. We have people that don't have the ability all the time to fresh water or so on and so forth. So this is just a conversation piece that I want to throw out there as well, sometime for us to all to maybe sit down and actually take a look at and talk about here in the future. Probably nothing this year. We got to get through the whole COVID thing here first. But once again, it's just conversation pieces for me to throw out there for business to come up in the near future. And that is all I have for this evening.
All right. Commissioner, on the sin tax, if that's a sales tax, the cities are prohibited from issuing sales tax in the state of Ohio. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about or not, but I just wanted to let you know that.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Pearson.
I didn't have a whole lot this evening. I just wanted to congratulate the award winners for the Residence Pride Awards, and I want to wish the students and teachers and principals all a good year. I know they've all been working hard. The athletic programs are happening, and I think that we're in a good place right now, and hopefully we can overcome it. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Grissom.
I wanted to kind of reiterate what Commissioner just said with the schools. I know that's a big topic of discussion right now. Sports, we're hearing things from DeWine as well. I just wanted to give a shout out to all the parents. I know a lot of them are going through a lot of tough times right now, trying to decide what's best for their child, online, in person, how to handle the different social situations. I just like to kind of implore people to really taking consideration of other people's thought processes, because not everybody agrees on are masks appropriate, are they not. I've seen some people get hateful about it, and then other people are very open about it as well too. You know, you may not agree on them, and I think that's we've talked about that on other topics. It's something that we can discuss. There's a lot of things that are unknown, but I think when it comes to what's right, what's wrong, there's no straight answer, but I just know that a lot of the parents are doing their best right now to do what they can. And a lot of the kids are impacted by this, and you know what? We're going to get through it. It'll make us stronger as well, too. But I just think we need to come together and just support each other regardless of how we might feel the situation, because it's not easy for anyone.
Totally agree. Thank you.
Absolutely. And kind of with that said, the Zoom meetings, I wanted to thank for trying to put those on and get them going. So I think this first one's gone pretty well. We got one person on there, so that's nice.
Maybe more.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's just because it's the first one. I really do want to see more people involved, just as Commissioner Folk was discussing, trying to bring people in, get them involved. We're making efforts to try to strive there, but again, there's still a lot of unknowns, and we don't know exactly where we need to be, where testing's at, what the numbers are saying. It's not to say that we don't want to have people in person. It's not saying that we don't want to try to get to that point, but this is a good first step in that direction. And I do appreciate you guys putting it on. And so far, I mean, meeting's gone pretty well, and I liked how you can even see the candidates and hear them. That worked very nicely. And then lastly, I did want to thank both John and Candy for their services as city employees. I mean, that's amazing. And then also all the Residents' Pride Award winners. I know my neighborhood, a lot of people's been doing a lot of work around their houses, and it's looking good. I mean, some buildings that have been needing some work for years, people are working on even in this time period. So I think that's wonderful. A lot of people taking pride in their places of residence too. So congratulations on winning those awards.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Hines.
Yeah, I also want to say just congratulations to our Summer Resident Pride Award. It's always fun to see those as they come out. And I'm looking forward to Christmas again for our light. We did the Lights Award at Christmas last year as well. So congratulations to all those winners this summer. Also, just a special also thanks to John Stevens and Candy Etter for the many years that they have been with us. 34 years is a long time in one job, and how faithful they have been to the citizens of the city of Piqua, so we do thank them. And my final comment is about our city staff. We are very, very fortunate to have the staff that we do. We have stellar staff here in the city, and they have had to work in a variety of ways in the midst of COVID, and they have kept things going. So I want to say a special thank you to our staff, to our department directors, to our city manager, and to all those who have helped to keep our city going in the midst of this crazy time. And as we know, it's a really unknown time, and I'm sure day to day you do not know from one day to the next when you come into work what it's going to look like. Because one day it's this way and the next day it's this way, and people are having to go home. So I know that a lot of citizens may not see what goes on behind the scenes, but I know that there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, so thank you. I also want to give a huge shout out to one of our employees here in the city, Tyler Lee. I was in a Main Street Piqua meeting this morning, and we were talking about the beautiful flower pots that are downtown. And Tyler has taken it upon himself this summer in his job to really care for those, to make sure they're watered. And if you look, in the midst of this crazy time, the flowers, and for me, the beauty of those flowers around the gazebo, downtown, it's just really nice to see. And I think Tyler's taken really good care. And so we just want to give him a shout out. In the Main Street Piqua meeting today, everybody was just very appreciative of that. So that's all I have.
Well, thank you. And if you look at those planters down there, it's beautiful. It really is. It accentuates the city. It slows traffic down. It allows people to cross. And thank you, Tyler, for taking care of that. Tyler had a business in which he worked in yards and lawns and gardens, and he's very talented with that. So we appreciate him and all the city employees. I do appreciate them. Now that the city offices are open, have there been any? I know it's only 2 days, Mr. Huff, but have been any issues whatsoever?
Not so far.
Let's keep that trend going. I saw the markers for 6 feet and social distancing, and I did get a call. A person called, and I think the process works great the way you've got it set up, and they just circle around if they're going to come in and then go out. It looks good to me. So
Looks good.
I think, thank you for responding and opening up, and thank all the city employees for making that quick adjustment, because I'm sure they weren't, I mean, we gave them a little heads up, but not much, so, but we appreciate what they do, so. And I want to thank Candy and John for their long service with the city. I got to work with both of them, and seeing them inside and out of city employment is a blessing. The beauty of the city employees and the people that work for the city is that they work here, they come to work here, and they want to stay. They come here for a career. They don't come here and stay five minutes and then want to go to the next place. They come and they stay, and they make a difference in the lives of the people that live in this city. So we appreciate all the city employees and everything that they do. Thank you to the Residents' Pride Award winners. I am truly in awe. Maybe some of them can help me work on my house since I'm never there. But I would love to have my house look like theirs. They do a good job. Every time we have these awards, the people's houses turn out to be beautiful and give me great ideas. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, Piqua Catholic School started today. I have an 8th grader that went, and his mom always takes a picture the first day, and she sent it, and I posted it. So he's a great kid, and he had a big old smile on his face, and he was happy to get out and be around other kids. I mean, and people are being safe. We have a great health department that has helped all the schools in the city of Piqua make sure that the openings are going to be safe and that they're well protected. The governor did issue, or said that tomorrow will come out the rules for sports, and our health department is helping with that. We'll be helping with that as well. I'm very, very happy that he has the option of going back and being around other kids, but able to do it safely. And that's all we want. We want parents to make that difficult decision, which Commissioner Grissom was talking about. It's not easy, but there's some useful tools out there. The governor's directions and our health department will help everybody make good choices for themselves and their families. And so, again, I appreciate our health director. She does a great job, and I'm sure she's tireless. So, aside from that, I have nothing else. I need a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned at this time.